lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
Matt Williams got a brilliant start from the third row of the grid.
He's gone, he's hit him, he's straight off at the chase.
Half-second lead. Oh, with the sizzling car in the background.
He has, oh, he's round on the last lap.
There's a massive, massive accident.
Next to the inside, what a move, what a move.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 4 of the OZTCAC Championship in Automoblista Australia. I'm Chris Riddell, and with me, yes, I'm back, and with me, as always, is Floodman11. G'day, Flood. Or Michael Zalavari. I'm in the podcast mode.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, good evening, Chris. Well, good to have you back. Yes, welcome, everyone. This is now round 4. We've been to Interlagos, Barber Motorsport Park, all the way down to Adelaide, and now we're up in Poutine land, right? This is where all the fantastic food comes from in Montreal, right?
Poutine, maple syrup. Oh, what a combination!
Brilliant. Now I'm
yes,
hungry, and I've just eaten.
You've just eaten your own version of poutine. Of course, we're at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada. Great little circuit. This, I love it.
This is one of my favorite F1 circuits on the calendar by a long way, because it's got a great combination of fast sections and sweeping corners and also slow sections as well, especially the first and especially the back straight in the first corner. It's just a lot of variety and a lot of fun. Yes,
it's got a lot of old school about it. Let's have a look at the actual track map, and maybe you can talk us through it a bit.
Yep, so the Montreal circuit Gilles Villeneuve is 14 corners, very slow first sector with the Virage Center, the turn 1-2 complex, and then 3 and 4 as well is very much a rough stop at turn 3. Then sector 2 is a lot more faster and a lot more flowing, and then sector 3 is the hairpin and that long run down the back straight. Of course, Formula One's here every year in Canada. I think they're going to Canada after the next round in Monaco.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah. And one thing I very much love about the circuit is that there's consequence for making mistakes here, which is something you don't really see a lot at modern Formula One circuits. But with the barriers very close to the wall at turns 4, at turns 9 and 10, and then again, of course, turn 14, the Wall of Champions. Someone's going to go on the Wall of Champions tonight. And I appreciate that there's actual consequence for making mistakes here.
I'm going to bastardize a quote here that other people make. There's that about Indy. There's 2 types of drivers: those who have hit the Wall of Champions and those who are about to hit the Wall of Champions.
Yeah, and someone's going to go in there tonight.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I hope that not everyone goes in there. I hope we don't have a repeat of Adelaide where we had, I think, 7 finishes. It was still a good race. But
not the greatest. It was all around lap 5, wasn't it? The whole thing just exploded. Yeah, let's try and get a bit longer than that. Of course, tonight being 2 30-minute races, so it should be full of action. Very short event. Lot of carnage, lot of action on track.
Yep, and on that as well, there is a compulsory pit stop in each race as well. So we are going to see probably not as much of an issue around tyre wear and fuel usage as we would at some of the other longer races, because you can break it into 2 nice 15-minute chunks, which makes it nice and easy. But that does mean that we've got a pretty wide pit window, so we could see a lot of different strategies tonight.
Excellent. And of course, fuel is at 2 times and tyre wear at 2 times, so a little bit of room to move. Let's have a look at the driver points, because they're very interesting coming into this round.
I don't actually have the driver's points in front of me. That makes me a bad broadcaster.
Okay, I will go through the driver's points, and you can tell me. So on top of the ladder at the moment is Will Devonish on 79 points. He's had 2 wins this season. He's carrying 41 kilos of ballast into this round. Behind him is Luke Joyner, 55 points. So that's a sizable gap already of 24. Luke Joyner's carrying half as much weight as well at 21 kilo. Lime Mitch is currently in third, 51 points, within striking distance of Luke. carrying a nice 17 kilos on his car. Then you get down to Brenton Hobson in 5th, who's carrying a whopping 50 kilo.
Yeah.
For no other reason than it's Hobson.
Yeah, exactly right. And we've got Brock Harvey in the room with us. So Brock, why have you saddled Hobson with 50? Is Brock here to talk with us? No, he's just hanging out in the room. Yeah,
I gotcha. All good. Sorry about that. Just a communication error right there.
that's all right.
Just because he deserved it. No, we had the we opened the series with the opinion that we had the discretion to make these kind of changes if we saw fit. Hobbo missed the first couple of races, so he's as quick as Will, quite easily as quick as Will. So we thought we'd get him as close to Will as we possibly could. Unfortunately, Will's not here tonight to see how big of a difference it made. But yeah, we just thought, you know what, let's just wheel him up a little bit because I think at Adelaide he was lightning fast. So the whole series is based around keeping the drivers as close as we possibly can. So that's why.
Yep, and I think it's a good call because for the first time, Hobson hasn't topped the practice session. So I think that's a good call.
I wasn't expecting to be that far back.
No, was it 7/10 down the back straight?
Canada could have been a little bit of a tough track for him.
Yeah, yes.
It was sorted out. It's fine, probably.
Also, we should mention as well, Spa does go the other way, so we've got a couple of cars carrying negative ballast here, so they've been pumped filled with helium. Glenn Miles, negative 30 kilos. Now, he's had an absolute shocker of a run recently.
Yes, but the important thing is he has been finishing races, and that's important to get the performance adjustments. So the guys who haven't made the finish of any of the races, so the guys like Gary Neville or Mike Coulston, they're sitting on a 0. But for the guys who have been finishing, albeit at the back of the field, are getting the weight break. So I think Glenn Miles has got a 30. Brian Walsh has also got 30. And River Whisperer, who I don't think is here tonight, is on negative 25. And another one of the weight breaks is Cam Rutledge on negative 10. But Cam isn't here tonight either. Why is that?
Because he has welcomed another junior driver into the world. Congratulate Cam and his lovely bride on the birth of a child just today.
Yes. So congratulations, Cam.
Yes. Hope to see you back soon, mate. But for now, get used to changing nappies. I'm sure he'll try and see what changes better, nappies or tyres.
I'm not even going to touch that. I'm staying well away from all of that.
Good call.
So I don't want to say something that's gonna result in me putting my foot in my mouth.
Yes, indeed. We've got a few minutes left before qualifying, so shall we go check out how the drivers are going in practice?
We actually are in qualifying.
We are in qualifying. Well, that was really well timed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In that case, let's go check out some qualifying.
Yeah. While the guys are just going on their outlaps, we'll talk you through the sector positioning on the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. So first sector runs, of course, from the start-finish straight into the peak of Turn 5. So Turn 5 is just kind of the sweep to the right between the first chicane and the second chicane on the back straight. That sector runs all the way through from there through to the entrance of the hairpin, and then the last sector is just where Scott Nolan, not Scott Nolan, sorry, I'm all mixed up, sorry. Just before the entrance of the hairpin, and then
okay,
yes, sector 3 is from that point all the way down to the start-finish straight yet again. So look for lap times to be about the 142-ish region for a very good lap. I threw down a few laps earlier yesterday and put in a 144, so I'm not terrible. But expect the guys at the top of the field, the Lion Mitches, the Brock Harveys, to be a lot further up in that time. Excellent.
Well, I've sorted out some wee technical issues I had when you were doing that, so well padded, thank you.
No problems.
So we're just got our eyes here on Lion Mitch carrying 17 kilos. That car still doesn't look terrible, the Pink Panther.
It looks Pink Puma Panther thing.
Yes.
It looks pretty good. I do like it.
Ooh, did we just have someone make contact with the World of Champions? Sounded like it.
I'm trying to find everyone because, of course, in qualifying, everything's all just mixed up a little bit from a broadcast standpoint.
Yes.
So we're getting the first sector times in now for Sector 1. So far, it is Termo who's got the fastest Sector 1 time with a 28.2.
Sorry to interrupt. I just got my camera on a very slow Mike Holston. I do wonder if he perhaps made contact with something.
I think he's just come out of the pit, so I think he's just trying to find a slot.
And he's finding a slot right in front of the MHRT Mini.
They're teammates as well, so that's not ideal. Not at all.
Okay, so looking at Ben Miles now, he's just coming through the back chicane. He's, as we said, carrying 30 kilos less. You can see they've given us a great clear indication with a negative 30 on the front of his car. So green numbers mean they're carrying less weight, red numbers mean they're carrying more. So he's just come through the hairpin there, where we see Robert Kubica have an absolutely monumental shunt all those years ago.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Good old Gilles Villeneuve memories.
Yes. And he's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. I think there was another car crashing to the World of Champions.
So we've got the first lap in, and it is Termo, who set a purple in each sector to go 1:42.8. Now, that is going to be a very difficult time to beat this early in the session as well. Wow. That might actually stand until pole. He was, as I said, purple in every single sector. So we'll keep an eye on the sector times. But yeah, at the moment, Termo in that Irwin liveried Lancer is the car on the pole. Yes,
right. Oh, and Glenn Miles has just found the wall when my stream automatically cut out as he did that. That was really well timed, but it looks like Glenn Miles is out of the session.
He might be able to go back to the pits and get on a spare car, let's call it.
Let's see if we can catch on a replay what actually happened there. So yeah, coming into turn 1, and he has just completely overcooked it. And of course my stream didn't catch it because it died.
Wow. Yeah, expect to see a few people doing that. That braking zone for turn 1 isn't the easiest, and there is no way to separate you from turn 2 if you get there. Ooh, as Cracker gets very wide in sector, turn 4 and makes contact with the wall.
And retires.
Yep.
What I've noticed so far is they're taking it very, very gentle around the World of Champions.
I think, because you're limited to 5 laps in qualifying, I think it's wise to at least get a banker in first. So that way, if you do mess up, you've got a lap in and done. As Termo's just about to cross the line, he's done a purple sector 2. Is he going to improve on his lap time?
Not quite, but geez, it wasn't far off it. 0.06 down.
No, not at all. Yeah. So if I was in this qualifying session, I'd try and put a banker in, just like give the walls maybe, half a meter more width than I normally would, and just try and get through things pretty safely. And then on a second or third lap, amp it up and try and cut everything as fine as possible.
Well, we've got our eyes on Brock Harvey here, who's done exactly that, gone right out to the edge of the final corner. He's going to come across the line any moment now. Is this going to be good enough to put him up top? No, he'll go to second though with a great lap. 1:43.1. 5 tenths up in his personal best.
Quality. Yeah, that's a great way to wind it up. Speaking of winding up, Termo has done a purple sector 1 again to go with his purple sector 2 and 3 from last lap. So we could see another improvement from Termo here.
Okay, got a camera on him now, just coming through down to the hairpin. There is a name for this hairpin, but I'm not going to try to pronounce it because my pronunciation of French is horrible.
Yeah, I'm not going to try it either. I respect the French too much for that.
Yeah. Looks like he may have lost a bit of time there. Still green, but not the absolute best. 33.75 for that middle sector.
Not in this case, no. We'll see how he goes, but with that sort of second sector time, he might have just dropped out from contention for another an improvement on his lap.
We'll see what he does here through the final corner. He got up on 2 wheels and a bit of a wiggle coming out. He's still... Oh no, we have Lime Mitch. Lime Mitch has gone top with a 1:42.4.
So purple in sector 3 for Lime Mitch, and Termo gets close but not close enough. Does improve on that lap, but not quite close enough to get onto Lime Mitch.
Obviously, great map by Mitch. Now we've got Brock Harvey just coming up to the final chicane now. It's a couple of greens. We'll see what we can do in sector 3. As he's very solid under brakes, turns in beautifully. Just 2 wheels right out to the exit curb. Use as much curb as there is on the track. This could be a good time, you know. Oh, it's behind him. Hobson has a massive incident.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Harvey not able to improve on his time.
1,000th outside of his personal best.
Yeah, unfortunately wasn't able to improve on his time by that. Looks like most people are done. We have who we got here? Kalen JD. I believe this is his first race.
Yes. You were talking to Kalen in the booth before we all kicked off.
Yes, Rhodey introduced him to me. Former mechanic slash, well, as you said, put fuel in the car.
Nice.
So,
Who was that for Rhodey in the Formula V?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yep. Just quickly, Hobson did improve on that lap that he hit the wall of champions, but it was only a 45.0. So he's now finished up. So yeah, he might not have. Didn't get a banker then in that case.
Okay. And that's going to put him down in 10th place. That'll be interesting to see how he goes in the race. We've got Kalen still going on a hot lap here. I want to see his first sector time. Is 28.7 green, and not a million miles off the pace of the guys ahead of him. So he could improve here. 3/10 up on his personal best.
Yeah, we're looking at a bit of a mixed grid. We'll go through it in a bit more detail afterwards. But there's a few guys towards the back who definitely have the quality to be further up, and I think that is because, as I mentioned at the top of the show, this track is a track with consequence.
Whoa.
And
Speaking of consequence, Kalen just absolutely blew the second chicane. 2 wheels on entry, and then cut the exit. Boy. That was that put paid to his lap, no doubt.
Exactly.
And he's given up on that.
Yeah. It is his 5th lap as well, so he has to come into the pits anyway.
Okay. Now Luke Joyner has yet to come into the pits. So I think we're pretty much done.
Colston's just about to cross the line and improves to 5th. Wow. Great lap there from Mike Colston.
If I went the right way, I could have actually seen it on screen. But yeah, go 5th place. Great time. 1:43.7. Looks like that's everybody.
And that is the end of qualifying as well.
Okay, let's go back and we'll get my stream to actually work properly. So why don't you take us through the grid there, Flood? Michael?
Cool. So, off the pole for race 1 this evening will be Lion Mitch, who set a 42.4. Second place, Termo, just got beaten on a 42.6. Third place is Brock Harvey. I don't have his lap time with me at the moment, which is a bit of an annoyance. But that must have been in the 42s or the
43.1.
Low 43.1. Yep. And then we've got Cracker 43.4, Mike Colston of 43.7 that we just call at the end. Scott Merrill of 43.886. Scott Nolan of 43.88. Gary Neville of 44.1. Kalen of 44.5. Luke Joyner of 44.6. Brenton Hobson of 45 flat. Brian Walsh 45.4. Ozrob, yeah, this is something I was going to mention. Ozrob down in 13th on a 45.5. And then Stewart on a 46.7 and Glenn Miles on a 47.7. So quite a bit of spread compared to what we've seen in some of the earlier rounds in TCAC. A large spread in the field, and it looks like we're skipping the warm up and going straight into race 1 here.
Ooh, excellent. Now it's not the time for Automoblista to stop working properly. Come on, baby. Come on.
So yeah, quite a large spread in quali times. Quite a bit of a mixed grid. I mentioned Hobson and Ozrob towards the back. Termo with a cracking lap early in the session. He would have been able to stay in second without improving that lap for the rest of the session. So great job by him, and he's going to be off second place without a weight penalty as well. We could see Termo jump to the top of the field, provided, of course, that he gets the whole shot and is able to stay around the outside in turn 1.
And that's not the easiest thing to do here, because that turn 2 is incredibly awkward to go too wide. And we've seen,
Yes.
and I'm sure some of us remember the incident between Robbie Gordon and Marcus Ambrose in NASCAR Xfinity Series all those years ago.
Wait, they raced here? Oh, that would have been sick.
Yeah, and
I never knew that.
And I believe even the precursor to the WeatherTech Series raced here as well, the LMS.
Oh man, I got into American racing way too late.
I mean, this track's been around since what, the early 80s?
I think it's been actually earlier than that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure actually. I'll have to go do some quick Google foo in between the races.
Sounds like a plan.
Come back. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so you're definitely a mixed up grid here as we come around the warm-up lap. So it's 14 taking the grid here. We've got, Hobson from 10th with 50 kilos. Okay, let's play a game. How high do you think he's going to go by the end of this race?
I reckon he can get on the podium. That's very odd. It looks like we've got Luke Joyner starting from the pits, and we also seem to have lost someone as well. We had 15 in that qualifying session. It's Kalen, I think we've lost.
Yeah, that's not unexpected. I believe he was just here for a bit of tuning with his wheel and get used to things.
Okay, well there we go. So we got a 14-car grid.
Yeah, with
Luke Joyner, as I mentioned, in the pits.
Yeah, that's what's going on there, because he wouldn't start the race from the pits, surely.
Maybe.
Oh, he
is coming to the end of pit lane now, so
Okay.
yeah, he will probably start from the pits.
Not the worst thing here. This turn 1-2 complex is going to break some cars potentially if you're not careful.
Yep.
As we're coming around to the grid now, so yeah, Lime Mitch on pole, Turmo in second in the Irwin Racing Machine, Brock Harvey third, Cracker fourth, Colston fifth, Scott Murrell in sixth, and then Hobson down in 10th. So we'll see where he ends up at the end of this. As the rest of the grid is just forming up nicely. Couple of cars just taking their time to find their positions. Here we go. Just waiting for the... Oh, bit of movement at the back there. Get yourself sorted, boys. No, we have car reversing on your Ozrob.
I
And
think Stuart's just finding his grid.
padding. And
We're gonna get the lights.
we've got the revs. Revs are rising. And we are away here with race 1 at Montreal. Lime Mitch got a fantastic start off the grid, and he's pulled way away. And Brock Harvey, great start as well. Looks like Turmo had a bit of a shocker. And he's,
Termo's dropped down to third off the start line. They're just going to try and squeeze through turn 2. I think Turmo made contact with the rear of Brock Harvey there, but we all seem to get through the turn 1 and 2 without too much of a major incident as they come into turn 3. Let's see if they can keep it off the wall there.
Ooh.
Oh, there's contact in the back between Colston and Cracker. They're
Yes.
still going at it further back. Scott Morrill is now on the outside of Colston, who might have just a little bit of damage after that incident.
not
They seem
surprised. That was a significant hit.
Yeah, they all seem to have gotten through mostly okay now after that initial contact and making it down into turn 6 on this first lap of the race. Oh, sorry, turn 8 now.
As second chicane, as we see the 91 get a little bit squirrely and cut the corner, but no harm, no foul. And things have started to settle down.
Just enough. Just a little bit as they all come into this hairpin at the tail end of the circuit. Oh, big dive there from Hobson on Colston.
He's already up to 7th.
Yeah, and I think he might have got it done, but with the weight penalty for Brenton Hobson, he might be in trouble down the far end of the straight.
Yeah, there he goes, Colston right outside him.
Yeah.
That's
So we've got Scott Morrill shaping for a move on the inside of Cracker into the last chicane. Is he going to be able to hold it in side by side in that chicane? And Cracker goes straight across.
How's that for commentary? Yeah, he almost got the wall there. Actually,
That was very close.
That was very close if he didn't, but yeah. Another position for Hobson quite easily.
Yeah. And Colston has gone into the pits there after that first lap tangle. Oh, someone's gone off through the first corner. I think that was who was that? Scott Nolan, who just went straight through at turn 1 and 2, and it's dropped from I think 3rd position down into 5th
Yes.
Before turn 3 here.
I didn't catch it. Did he just outbrake himself?
Yeah, it looked like he just went straight on at turn 1.
As we discussed, happens.
Yep, exactly.
Luke joined the race as well.
Yeah, very lucky for Scott Nolan that he didn't go straight through and potentially collect someone on the other side, as the field now files down the back straight into turn 8 on lap 2.
And we see here the Scott Nolan machine getting into the back of Cracker there. Just sort of, I think he expected the car to brake a bit later than he did and gave him a fair shunt up the backside. And it's actually got the pass done. It looks like it's really compromised Cracker. He's dropped a couple of spots as a result of that, and potentially another one as Scott Morrow has to look down the inside of the hairpin and gets the job done.
Traffic jam. Yeah, traffic jam there with all those Lancers. Yeah, it looked like a Cracker just, because he got out of shape from that contact from behind, just had no run in the run from turn 9 down to turn 10, and yeah, everyone else has just filed past him.
Tell you what though, where would you want to be coming into this final chicane?
Well, this is a repeat of what happened on the first lap, and Scott Morrow does fall back into line ahead of Cracker, so that way they don't have to go through their too wide, and they can all safely get through onto the main straight to start lap 3.
As Morrow dives down to get behind Hobson and get the tow. Why would you want a tow from a fat boy? I'm not sure. As Hobson, teammates there very, very gentlemanly pass. So Hobson's up to 4th place already.
Yeah, but remember, we do have a compulsory pit stop to make. As they go 3 wide out of turn 2, heading down to turn 3, Morrow rounds up both Cracker and Nolan down that little section, and he's on the back of Hobson now, and they're still bickering about it. Nolan and Cracker are still making contact as they come through turn 5, right now into turn 6, and Cracker files back into line and relinquishes that position. Jeez, there's very willing at this early stage of the race.
They're just not quitting. I mean, 5 minutes into the race and they're playing like it's the last lap. It's madness. And that's why we love it.
Well, it is great. And that's the sort of racing this series is meant to promote. So it looks like they got it right. And it looks like that weight penalty for Hobson has brought him back into the fold, or back into the pack rather, instead of out ahead of everyone else. Yes. Speaking of ahead of everyone else, there could be a move on for the lead at the moment. Lime Mitch just got a little wide at turn 10. And now Termo's right on his tail up the back straight.
Just keep an eye on this now. Now, Lime Mitch is the heavier car. So there might be a little bit of a top-end discrepancy here. Termo's right behind him as well, coming to the chicane, but not close enough to get the move done on this lap. Gets a bit sideways on the entry to the final chicane though. Costs himself a little bit of time. And Brock Harvey's sitting 3 seconds back going, oh yes. Keep doing that and I'll catch up.
Yeah, exactly right. It certainly looks like out of turn 10, the Puma seemed to struggle a bit. I'm not sure if that was because Lime Mitch had gone wide on entry, or if that's something that's been happening every lap. But Termo is looking extremely racy, and of course Termo's got no weight penalty at this stage of the season. So Termo definitely has the potential to get a big win here. Pardon me.
Closing up ever so slowly into the second chicane there. I should really learn the turn numbers.
That would be turn 6.
Turn 6, yes.
Termo, by the way, just a purple first sector there, so he's definitely turning the screws at the moment. 10th
and a half up on Mitch. You can definitely, certainly, the timing's showing. Ooh, 2 wheels there into that third chicane.
Turn 8 and 9.
Thank you.
I got you.
So, yeah, tell you what, if he gets a good run out of the hairpin here, this is where I think he can get the move done.
Yeah, but you don't want to still be on the inside as Mitch just pinches that inside brake. You don't want to still be on the inside heading into the final chicane, because that wall on the outside comes to greet you very quickly. And we've seen that in real racing quite a bit. They don't call it the Wall of Champions for nothing.
Exactly. He's thinking about it, but no. 3/10 is probably just a bit too far back. So another lap behind the car, behind the Puma. Ooh,
both of them hit that inside curve.
Come on, boys. Not meant to be doing that. And Brock Harvey's starting to have a bit of a lonely race in third, but how far back's Hobson? 4 seconds. I'm going to go down to Scott Morrow because it looks like that battle pack could be getting a bit tasty. Oh, yep.
Still tasty.
Yep, Scott Morrow right on the back of Hobson here. As we see, I think we just saw a car shoot. Yes, we did.
Ooh,
Cracker.
That was Cracker.
Cracker getting it all wrong through 1 and 2. Still able to hold the position though, because he had a bit of a margin. But now Neville is now within striking distance in that Renault.
Yeah, that group of 5 has still been going on. They've settled a little bit now, but I think Scott Morrow's...
Whoa! Big incident! Sorry to interrupt. We had a big incident at the back there. Oz Rob has found the wall in a big way.
Yeah, that looks like on the exit of turn 4. Let's have a look if we can see what happened.
Yep, just going back on replay here. So coming through 1. I feel like it was contact because there was a Puma pretty close to him behind. And let's have a look here. Coming through the first chicane, just... Oh, no, by himself, just gets it wrong on entry and bang into the outside wall.
Yeah. Real shame. He's now retired from the race, yeah. I was wondering how much being that far back in the pack would affect him, and it looks like he's just overcooked it in turn 3. And yeah, that's spelled the end of his race. That's
a damn shame. I hate people seeing people DNF. I do it enough myself.
Yeah, that is true. Despite everything else, that is true.
Yes.
And just very quickly, it was lucky for Miles that he didn't make contact with that spinning Volkswagen as well. So yeah, and we do stay green as well, as Lime Mitch sets another purple lap, a 1:42.5, which would have taken pole position in qualifying. So he's definitely still got the pace. But Termo, last lap, he got a curb strike last lap, so we don't actually have his lap time. But they're still only separated by about a second.
Yes, that margin has just sort of eked out slightly. I'm going to go back to Hobson because that battle, as we said, race is still raging.
Yeah. Still going on. It's the 3 Lancers there, and that 1 Volkswagen of Scott Morrow, the Repsol Volkswagen, which looks sick in the middle of it. Now, what would you do if you were Scott Morrow in this situation?
I would...
As he gets a bit of a run on the inside, heading
I would pass him on track. That's the answer.
Yeah. Heading into turn 8, he's got the inside line, and he does get the move made. No, he goes wide through turn 8 and 9. He's probably going to have to give that back. He does pull over to the inside. Does he let... If he lets Hobson through, he almost has to let Nolan through, because Nolan's right in the toe, and that audacious move from Muller is going to cost him 2 positions. Well, an extra position. Unless he can hold it there... He does. Wow. Well done. He slotted straight in, and he gave Nolan a little bit of a shove there as well, just to make sure.
Now, if I was Scott Morrow here, I wouldn't take this corner. I'd just go straight into the pit lane.
Straight into the pit lane? Yeah, I would too. I think he's got much more pace than Hobson. So, well, he's actually made the move here. So now that he might have just a bit more air ahead of him, I would probably stay out a bit more. Try and maximize the pace I've got while I've got it.
Yeah. Now, we may have had our first pit caller. Brian Walsh has done a 2-minute 28, so I can only assume... Whoa, hang on, I was interrupt myself. Big moment there for Scott Morrow, getting all crossed up through turn 1, and he's going to ship positions to potentially all 3 of the Lancers here. Definitely both Synergy racing cars.
Well, throw everything I said in the last 20 seconds just right out the window then.
That was...
Yeah, it looked like he got a tyre out on the dirt as he broke for turn 1, and that was enough. Oh, as Cracker has a massive dive, and they make contact, Cracker and Morrow.
Yeah, that's a bit nasty, boys.
Yeah,
Yeah, Cracker's putting over. Cracker's putting over.
Yeah, that's probably a good call there. That was a dive from pretty deep. I mean, Scott Morrow was a little compromised, but yeah, coming from that far back, especially around that corner where it's a bit unsighted, it's just... Yeah, don't see too many successful moves made there in any form of motorsport, and that's broken up that battle pack into the 2 Synergy sim racing cars, and then the Repsol Volkswagen and the Cracker Fat Racing Lancer a bit further back.
I was trying to avoid saying that team name for that exact reason.
Oh well.
So
if he wants to be called that, he's getting called that on stream.
Very true. Looks like things are... So yeah, with the closure of that battle for now, looks like things are starting to calm down just a little bit as Lime Mitch hits another fastest lap.
Oh, boom. 42.48 for Lime Mitch.
He's on it. He is absolutely on it. And I think Termo's, he's dropping back real quick. I'm not sure he's got any answer at this stage of the race.
No, that last lap from Termo, 1.2 seconds behind Lime Mitch.
Makes you wonder if he's just working those tyres just a little bit hard. Or a little bit harder.
Potentially, yeah.
Because, of course, your setup, for such a short race, your setup's very crucial to how your tyres respond and how you grip the surface. And in a short race like this, you want to nail it as much as you can.
Yeah, and we might even see some pit callers soon-ish.
I'd imagine so.
We're at 13 minutes in, so almost halfway. We're about a lap away from halfway in this race. As just in the background of the shot I was seeing, it looks like Cracker in 7th is having a bit of a look at Scott Morrill now into turn 8. Now, this is the type of place you want to make that move, but no, it's just slotted back into line again, and that battle continues on. Yep.
Because that was the scene last lap where they all got it horribly wrong.
Yeah, exactly right.
So, yes, well behaved this time. Tell you what, though, War of the Champions, I reckon it's on. Because Cracker just looks really good out of the hairpin.
So you reckon Wall of Champions? You reckon that's where he's going to do it?
I reckon that's where he's going to have a lunge.
Well, he does have a bit less weight than Scott Morrill. 7 kilos heavier for Scott versus 5 kilos off for Cracker. Could see a little bit of a help down this back straight, as it looks like the drag's working for him as well. That gap is definitely shortening as they come up into the final corner, but not quite short enough for Cracker to have a lunge.
No, not this lap. We do have our pit caller though, and it is Brenton Hobson. Brenton Hobson, the first of the front runners to make the jump, and he should come out. He'll actually come out into some clean air as well, which will be great for him. We'll see what he can do with it.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a team call as well, just to sort of let Scott Nolan have a bit of a breathe in fresh air and see if he can put some pace down himself. Yeah.
Possibly. We'll see where he feeds out here. We have our second DNF. Mike Holston has retired from the race.
I wonder what's...
Let's see if I can catch that on replay. No, I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm guessing...
DNF'd a little while ago.
Yes, unfortunately. So, Brenton Hobson's came out in 10th, actually right behind Luke Joyner. Who has...
That's actually not too bad. Of course, Joyner started from the pit lane, so he's been at the tail of the field, and Hobson's going to have a dive here into turn 6, makes the move done. I think Joyner was very nice there and just sort of moved over and let him have it.
Yeah, no point competing when you're off strategy. So it looks like you're losing about 30 seconds in the pit lane as compared to a normal lap here. So I don't know whether Hobson did 2 tyres or what the deal was there, but we have to bear that in mind. 30 seconds is what he spent. Of course, because the pit lanes here is really strange in terms of it feeds you out to turn 2.
Yeah, it's actually a really short pit lane as we've got Brock Harvey. Oh, there's a contact. Scott Morrill and Cracker have made contact in the last corner. Both of them spinning sideways as they go through that chicane. I don't think they made it contact with the wall at any point. But yeah, very, very tough. Oh, I think Cracker may have been looking to go into the pits there because he's collected the rear of Scott Morrill in the braking zone.
I've just got it up on replay now. Let's see if we can bring it up on stream. Yep, that's the one problem with this pit lane.
Yeah.
Because you're braking right on the racing line for it to entry into pit lane, and the pit lane you don't stop.
No, not at all. So yeah, it looks like both of them has continued on. Cracker hasn't gone through the pits. Of course, he was sideways, so he probably wouldn't have been able to get into it anyway. That's definitely one of the challenges with this pit lane. Due to its entry, you've got to be really conscious if you're following another car that you've got to brake for them to get through the corner before you can shoot through into the pits.
Speaking of,
as you mentioned, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of pit lane, Brock's just done a pit. Brock Harvey saved himself 10 seconds in the pit lane, so I'm guessing he's only put on 2 tyres.
Okay, that'll be very interesting. I wonder if it's possible to choose to not take tires, because I would in a 30-minute race. I reckon you could get away with it.
Here though?
Yeah, I guess. If you're keeping it clean for a lot of the race, as Scott Nolan slides through the final chicane. So looks like Scott Morrell's pitting from 4th, and Cracker is continuing on. So I wonder if Cracker just made a mistake and it wasn't about getting into the pits.
Possibly just sort of overcooked it, because it's very easy to do.
Yeah, maybe.
When you got a track that's all basically chicanes and straights, very easy to overcook it. That is a great track.
It is a great track. I do like it.
That looked like a very short stop for Morrell. See what his pit delta is, but that's going to be really interesting to keep an eye on. Just waiting for it to tick over to timing beam now. And he's 2:11. So I think Scott has taken your idea. No tyres.
He's going to come out just behind Hobson though, so that contact with Cracker has certainly not done Scott Morrell any favours as he pops out behind Brenton Hobson. So he's going to have to stare at the rear of that SSR Lancer yet again.
Tell you what, that was almost a beautiful strategy call. I feel like he was forced into it because of that spin. But if he had come out ahead of Hobson, that would have been an interesting 11 minutes and 19 seconds left of this race.
It would have, but I think that spin has severely hampered Scott Morrell's chances of placing on the podium for this race.
Completely agree.
So at the moment, the top 3 is Lime Mitch, Termo, and Scott Nolan. Cracker is the last car to have not pit out of that lead group, and then Brock Harvey is the first of the stoppers, who is 13 seconds down on Cracker, and I think that's 40 seconds down on the lead. Yes. As Cracker's in the pits now.
Okay, this will be interesting where he comes out. Keep an eye on him, because he's probably the only interesting strategy battle at the moment. While we're in there, I'm just having a look at some of the YouTube comments. Loose89. Still surprised people don't know how to save oversteer in a front wheel drive car. Hashtag just for it, bro. It's a solid strategy.
He sounds like one of my people. I like you, friend.
Okay, so back onto the action. So Cracker's coming out of the pits. Looked like a fairly lengthy stop. Looks like he might get ahead of Luke Joyner. Whether he gets ahead of... Oh, Neville's already past him.
A long way past as well.
Yeah. What did he do there? He did 2:26, so that's 2 tyres.
Yep. That might even be some damage as well, because remember he was battling with Morrell, so Morrell is 14 seconds up the road, or more than that, because there's a car in between, so about 18 seconds up the road. So that says to me that that's probably damage.
Yeah, that quite possibly. So yeah, 9 minutes to go. We've got Termo's just coming into the pits now. Here we go.
As well as Lime Mitch. So this will be the battle for the top, and then Scott Nolan is the next car on track, and he's just coming through in he's staying out on track through the chicane now. Oh, he makes contact with the wall at the Wall of Champions. So
it continues on though. Okay, Lime Mitch is moving. Lime Mitch is moving. Lime Mitch is moving, and Termo is still in the pit lane.
I think he's just waiting for fuel. So Lime Mitch is going to come out comfortably ahead of Brock Harvey. Termo's moving now. That's going to be a lot tighter. I'm not sure. It's going to be very close, because Brock Harvey's going to go through turn 1. They're going to be right next to each other. Brock Harvey's just set a purple lap, and he's not even right next to each other. He's way ahead. Wow.
Jeez. Okay, yeah. So Termo did a 2:21 in the pit lane. I'm guessing Lime Mitch didn't. So I'm guessing that's 2 tyres versus potentially no tyres, we're thinking?
Potentially, yeah. I'm not sure. All I know is that Brock Harvey has made the right strategy call. Oh, no, he hasn't. He's fine in 3rd position.
He made the right strategy.
Only a half spin.
Made the right strategy call, but the wrong decision. about how to turn in there.
So he made the right strategy call because he came in a lot earlier, got into clean air, and he's made that move over Turmo in the pits. But yeah, it looked like just there he got off onto the grass in the braking and just had a little half spin. Wasn't nearly as dramatic as I was making it sound. Sorry to everyone listening at home. Wasn't nearly as dramatic as that in the end. Just a little half spin, and he's okay.
Just have an update from Mike Coulson, whose 4G decided to update and reset. That's why he retired from the race.
Wow.
That's a shame.
Not ideal. And we have Scott Nolan coming through the pits. That's the last of our pit callers, I think.
Okay, as Line Mitch is coming through the final chicane now, it should comfortably get ahead of him. Yep. Line Mitch has been fantastic this race.
Yeah, again, he's just been super clean. He's set a purple middle sector.
Here we go.
Middle sector?
Here we go. I want to watch this. Nolan. Oh, no. I thought Nolan was coming out of the pit. No, but he was going into his pit bay.
So it'll be interesting to see if Nolan can match Turmo. No, Turmo has gone. He's going through turn 1 now.
Yeah, no, Nolan's just coming out of the lane. Oh, here we go. Nolan versus Hobson versus Murrell could be on.
I think, yeah, that'll be the main battle. And Nolan is out ahead of that battling pair. And a little bit significantly, it's about 2.5 seconds. So that battle that Hobson's been having with Scott Murrell has actually slowed them both up and allowed Scott Nolan to comfortably jump the both of them with only 6 minutes left. So I wonder if Nolan has bothered to take tyres with only 6 minutes left. If I was at this stage, I might brave it.
Not with that lap time of a 2 minutes 8 for his last lap.
Yeah, wow. So yeah, no tyres.
No tyres there.
So he's got 6 minutes to hold on to a 3.5 second gap with Hobson playing tail gutter if he wants a podium position. Oh, sorry, 4th place.
That gap is now 2.3 seconds.
I think it's doable. I reckon if Hobson puts on a show...
that gap is now 1.5 seconds.
Okay, maybe not.
We'll see. Tell you what, though, the gap between Murrell and Hobson is 2/5 as bugger all.
Yeah. Your favourite saying. Your favourite gap length.
As Scott Murrell here just... Oh, tell you what. If he was a bit closer there, he would have thought about a lunge into the final chicane. But as it is, Hobson's sort of pulling away. Murrell got a bit squirrely on exit. But he's still close enough. He can have a lunge if he wants. Here we goes.
And there goes the move. Yeah, he's made good use of that slipstream and the little bit of lighter... that Volkswagen is compared to the Lancer, and so that he does make that move into that final chicane and sets about chasing Scott Nolan, who is now only a second up the road.
Yes, and with potentially three more laps left of this to go.
Yeah, it's going to be very tight. We're going to see those 3 cars again, line astern, possibly throughout the last part of this lap.
Oh,
and this race, rather.
This has been a slow burner, but hey, it's going to be a good one at the end.
Well, fingers crossed, right?
I'll tell you what, the Volkswagen sort of pulled away from Hobson a bit there. Right on the backside of Nolan. Let's not forget, Hobson took no tyres. Nolan took no tyres. Murrell, we think he took 2?
I think Murrell took no tyres either.
Oh, okay. He just looks so much quicker.
All running it very, very, very hard on the tyres as they bounce over the curbs at turn 8 and 9. Now, Murrell has got a bit more pace here heading into turn 10. He's going to have to go the long way around as Scott Nolan covers on the inside. Now, that's going to compromise Nolan. Oh, bit of bumper carts in there. You could see what Nolan was trying to do, though. He was trying to hold that apex in the middle and back everyone up. But I think it took everyone by surprise as they're coming down the back straight now. Murrell was parked in the slipstream of that Lancer and pulls out to the outside. He's going to have to go the long way around, but he does have the position at this stage. Can Nolan hold it on the inside? Yes, he does, but he has to cut over the curb, and he's going to have to give that position up. So Murrell's done a great job there to get around both of the Synergy Sim Racing cars. And in fact, Nolan has dropped behind Hobson as well.
Yeah, Nolan just overcooked it into the final corner. Speaking of overcooking it, Murrell's gone wide on exit of 2. That's given Hobson a shot into the first chicane.
You took the words literally out of my mouth. But Morrill does enough to keep that position for now as they get very close to the turn 4 exit wall, and this battle rages on. Just quickly, back at the head of the field, Termo's set a new purple fastest lap at 1:42 flat.
Oh boy!
So he's not sticking around, but he does have almost 4 seconds to gain back on Brock Harvey to make a move for position, and Lion Mitch is 13 seconds ahead as we head back to this battle for
Where there is another move position going on. Hobson down the inside of the second chicane and gets the move done. Great move.
Yeah, very nice, very calm, very collected there. Both of them had a lot of room to make it, as Murrell's been compromised on the exit there, so Nolan's going to have to go around the outside of turn 10 as he pulls out into the weeds. Oh, Morrill does a very good job, and Hobson's just gone a little wide, so now they're all backed up together. Oh, there's so much happening. I can't keep track of it.
And the leader would have started the last lap anytime minute now as Lion Mitch starts the final lap. But this actually might be 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go from this point as Lion Mitch is going out of turn 2 now. So we've got at least 2 more laps of this battle for 4th place as they head into the final chicane. All get over both of those curbs nice and easy. It looked like Nolan just got a little squirrely on the exit there, so he's lost a little bit of ground. But Morrill, he's looking very racy. I think if he cleans up turn 1, he could have... Oh, as he cuts turn 1, in fact.
That's mowing turn 1, not cleaning up turn 1.
Yeah.
You don't want to do too much of that.
No, not at all. And I think he might have just a bit of a case to answer the stewards if he tries to make a move here, but he decides against it, probably wisely.
Yep.
As they bound over the curbs in the 3 and 4 chicane.
As he's taking another look here. Oh, I don't know if we got a bit squirrely there, but he suddenly dropped back a couple of tenths.
I think he's just trying to get as much in Hobson's mirrors as he can. At this stage of the race, anything can happen. So if you have any sort of spontaneous opportunity, you gotta try and shoot for it, I think.
Yeah, he's trying to make his Sirocco look like a VW van. Bounces right over the curb there. That's not going to help. Tell you what, Nolan's dropped off the back of this. So I reckon it's a 2-horse race now for 4th place.
Oh, don't say that just yet. They could still very possibly back each other up here.
Whoa!
Just a little wide there, and so Morrill tries to jump into the gap that was rapidly closing. They make a little bit of contact, and now it's as you were heading down the back straight. Now, I wonder if either of them got a little bit of suspension or steering arm damage there as the time ticks to 5 seconds to go, and so we start the last lap now with Lion Mitch heading through turns 3 and 4. Oh! I'm not sure if you caught that, but Lion Mitch almost threw the race away there as he came through turn 4.
I didn't catch it. I was too busy trying to watch the battle that's unfolding behind him. I'm going to have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, trust me in that we almost had a different race winner after that. After that off there.
All right. As we see now, we see Morrill right on the backside of Hobson once again. Thinks about a cheeky look into the first chicane, decides better of it because he wasn't quite far enough up. And that chicane is one of the nasty ones on the track.
Yeah, indeed. They almost made contact with that turn 4 wall there. And I think now you're right. I think now it's only a 2-horse race. But with Morrill jumping over the curbs like that, it's given Hobson just a little bit of breathing room. It's going to be tight as they head towards turn 8. But I think Hobson's done enough here to hold on to that 4th position.
I think so. I'm gonna try and get to the lead and we'll see him cross the line. Here we go. Lion Mitch coming up to the World of Champions now, coming up to the final chicane. 15 seconds ahead of Brock Harvey.
And he almost threw it all away. Let's not forget that, ladies and gentlemen. No one else saw it but me, but you have to trust me. Almost threw it all away.
And got us a long run to the finish line. There he goes, across the line. Lion Mitch, your race winner. Congratulations, Mitch. Brock Harvey bringing it home in 2nd place. Great result from Harvey. Super smooth. And Turmo close up to 2.5 seconds just in 3rd place there. They actually got around one of the Pumas as well. Lapping them. So we have now 4th place. Hobson has finished a massive 4 tenths ahead of Morrill, who's ahead of Nolan. And Gary Neville should be next across the line in 7th.
Neville hasn't had the cleanest last lap, so it is still pretty close between him and Cracker, but Neville should.
Ooh, he had a cracker throwing it away in the last chicane. Got a bit he got a bit squirrely on exit there. And
so Neville through in 7th, Cracker through in 8th. Luke Joyner, a very quiet race from him in general, coming home in 9th position after starting from the pit lane.
As he weaves them across the finish line. Well done, mate. And Brian Walsh, the Playboy machine.
One of the Playboy machines.
One of the Playboy machines, the one that's not that's in the race. Coming home in 10th place. And Glenn Miles a lap down, unfortunately, in 12th. Stewart coming across in 11th. And that's all she wrote for race 1.
Woof. What an action-packed race.
Wasn't it? That was great fun.
Yeah.
He had good strategy battles. He had come down right to the end. Some great action in the opening laps as well.
Yeah, and it was a bit wild. I'm very much happy that we didn't have any, besides that one for Ozrob, any more major incidents, because that would have certainly put a bit more of a damper on things. Yeah, immaculate performance from Lion Mitch, besides that last lap, which I'm sure to ask him about at the end of the race. I'll write myself a note about that.
Yes, indeed. So I think that's a good time to take a quick break. We'll be back momentarily with race 2.
You're an idiot.
You realise? And we are back. Some of you would have heard Michael just call me an idiot and
You
stuff.
100% deserve that. I don't care who heard it.
This is an insight to how we record podcasts, you know, people.
Yeah, this is true.
So I thought we'd come back. We've got 10 minutes to go before race 2. Now, before we talk about what we're going to see in race 2, it probably would be remiss of us to mention the massive loss in the motorsport world this week with Niki Lauda's unfortunate passing. One of the great Formula 1 drivers, 3 world championships, and one of those blokes who everyone loved in the paddock.
Yeah, it's been a really down week. Especially with Niki Lauda passing. Of course, everyone remembers his massive accident at the Nürburgring and how he came back from that to win a further 2 world championships after, I think it was he didn't even take that much time out of the sport. I think he took only 2 races he missed after that incident. So massive personality in the sport, a massive personality in the pit lane. And yeah, the world of motorsports is worse off now without his presence.
Indeed. I love the quote that Martin Brundle put on his Twitter about him. He's cheated death ever since that crash he had in the 70s, and he's been making the most of every day since then.
That's a perfect quote.
Yeah.
That typifies the man.
Yeah.
A massive loss.
It is. Of course, we see his son go around quite regularly at Le Mans.
Yep. His son Matthias is one of the silver drivers in the Aston Martin crew, racing in the number 98 with Paul Dall'Anna and Pedro Lamy.
Mm-hmm. Another reason.
And that crew should be quite successful. If you're ever watching WEC competition.
Mm-hmm. No doubt they'll be racing with a heavy heart in the month's time when we go to the big dance at Le Mans.
Yeah.
And no doubt everyone this weekend at Monaco will be racing with a heavy heart as well. And our thoughts go out to the Lauda family and everyone affected by his tragic passing.
Yeah.
So we should, on that note, we should try and liven the mood up a bit, but talk about race 2. It's gonna be a random grid. We love these random grid starts.
Oh wait, really?
Yep.
Oh, sick. Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Yes.
I thought we were going to another qualifying. Random grid? Oh, hell yeah.
According to comments, yes, random grid. Which is going to be great. So we'll get going about 8.5 minutes time there. We've got... After the results of that first race, what did we learn from it?
That Brenton Hobson's very hard to pass.
Yes.
Is one. I was having a quick chat to Scott Murrell in the interim, and he was just complaining about Hobbo's Lancer being as wide as you can get. You can get away in the pits here. We were talking to Brock Harvey. He only took the 2 tires in that pit sequence, so you can get away with only taking 2. You could even probably get away with not taking any if you can make that choice. I'm not sure if you can. And there are opportunities to pass, but you've got to think about it a little bit. I think that's one of the traps that Scott Murrell fell into, is that he didn't really plan the move a corner or 2 ahead. He just kind of tried to go for it when it came up. But you've got to plan the move here, because even though it's got those long straights, you do need to get the run. You need to be in the right spot at the right time.
Yes, and that's especially a place like this where the passing moves you have to put on, they're not like real easy moves. You've got to work hard for them because, the road goes right, but then it goes left again.
Yeah,
exactly. There's only one real corner where you can just get the move done, wishes to happen. Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, if you commit in one corner, you're going to be disadvantaged in the next. So you have to think about the move and think about it ahead of time. So I did give him a little bit of advice. So hopefully he puts that into practice and moves up the field. Or conversely, hopefully Hobbo gets his big Lancer booty in the way, and we'll see how we go.
I'm just really stunned that your advice is actually going to help someone.
Hey, I am a fountain of wisdom. I could give advice.
You're a fountain of something.
mate, nah. No thanks.
So we've got about 6 minutes to go. The drivers are just having a quick little practice. We can see here Scott Murrell. They've been really testing the limits of these chicanes just to see how hard they push. So I reckon race 2 is going to be all out guns blazing. I reckon we could see some broken cars the way these guys are driving in practice.
Yeah, on race 2, I think because of the random grid, we might see a more varied selection in strategies as well. Especially if you have someone like a Scott Murrell or a Lime Mitch trapped behind one of the slower cars for an extended period of time. As I mentioned in race 1, I was surprised that Murrell didn't pit earlier when he was stuck in that battle group because he kept making mistakes and getting pulled back into it. So I would have liked to have seen him try and pit earlier and make the best of some free space. Oh, as they're getting a little bit.
Oh, let's not do that in the race, boys.
Oh,
Scott Murrell, Jesus. I know it's
Solid,
practice, but
no
you know what?
thanks.
I'm bringing up the replay on that. That was I'm not bringing up the replay because I'm in the wrong mode.
Wow.
That was let's not do that, boys. Yeah, okay. They've just gone full in the Forza community what we call last man standing mode on this now.
Good memories.
Yeah,
So we might see a little bit more willing racing. We might see a little bit more thought, hopefully, a little bit more thinking about the race and thinking about strategy. Because I do like a well thought out race. And well thought out moves. Yeah,
it's gonna be good. So
exactly right.
So the race gets underway in about 4 minutes' time. So we'll just take another quick break. I'll sort out my computer and we'll get going for race 2.
Yeah. Catch you in a sec.
And we are back. We're counting down now to race 2 here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. A great track in Montreal, Canada that we both love. And Flood, you've done a little bit of research for us, have you not?
Yes, I have some Gilles Villeneuve fun facts for you.
I love fun facts. Go for it.
Fun facts. So firstly, it was originally called, Gilles Villeneuve isn't its original name. It was originally called the Ile Notre Dame circuit. So that was finished in, so the circuit was built in 1978. So that makes it now 41 years old. Then it was moved. The Formula One race was moved from motorsport because there was concerns over motorsport's safety. So for those who watch,
well-founded.
Yeah, somewhat well-founded. So those who watch the IMSA WeatherTech sports car series or any of the other series, sports car series that run at Motorsport, you'd know, the Motorsport track. They normally race that in the last week of June, I think, or the first week of July. But yeah, that's a really fun circuit as well, so you should definitely check that out. They actually, right next to the pit lane area, there is a massive Olympic basin that they used for rowing in the old Olympics. And as a fun, in the 1978 Olympics, that is. And as a fun fact, the Montreal circuit has hosted the longest Formula One race. Longest in time, not in distance.
Yes, that would be 2010, question mark?
It would be the 2011 Montreal race, in which it went for 4 hours and 30-something minutes. That day that they had scattered showers and 1 or 2 incidents. And
scattered showers.
Scattered showers. By scattered showers, I mean scattered monsoon.
Yes. Not as bad as we saw a couple of weeks ago with snow at Spa.
At Spa-Francorchamps, no, that was cool as all heck though. Yes. What happened in that 2011 race? That was the race that Jenson Button won after having, I think it was 4 pit stops and 4 pit stops, half of them being drive-throughs, I think.
Yep.
Great race.
Great race.
Great race.
And I missed it because I had to go to school.
Wow. Yeah, I should have gone to school that day too, but I didn't.
So, I've just seen a bunch of cars crashing on stream. That must mean we're pretty close to getting this race underway.
That'd be about right with this group.
We are entering a 10-minute timer.
So it would be the last warm-up? No, what is going on? Are we doing random group?
Skipping qualifying.
Okay.
Thank you, race director. You don't sound as awesome as the Water Freighters, gotta say.
Ouch.
I know, he is cool. I've also broken my pen. Sidebar.
It's always something.
Okay, here we go. The grid is being formed. So this is a completely random grid. So let's see what happens here. We're going to have 15 cars take the grid on this one. We have Rhodey has joined the party. Okay, let's see what's going on. So we have... It looks like Gary Neville might be on the pole for this one. When he comes out of the pit lane. When he comes out of the pit lane in the Villeneuve racing machine.
Eventually.
Gary. Okay, well, in second place will be Turmo. Oz Rob in third place. Perfect chance for him to atone for his race 1 DNF. Fourth place will be Luke Joyner in the
MHRT,
the racing the mini there. Cracker in fifth in that lime green Lancer. Scott Nolan in sixth place, the Synergy Sim Racing machine. Lime Mitchell, previous race winner, coming from 7th. Not a bad outcome for him. 8th is Rhodey in the Bliston Racing Volkswagen. Oh, that is such a classic livery.
That looks pretty cool. Rhodey, of course, raced in, I think, Super 2s and the AMSL Super 2s as well. And you've probably seen him around some part of the AMSL's community at some point.
Indeed.
You're not familiar with him?
Oh, we have a crash already.
A crash in the warm-up lap. What's going on there?
I don't realise Scott McLaughlin and Cam Waters were here.
So that's Termo who's gone off. It looks like he's just faded into the wall. That looks like a lag out to me.
Okay.
And then as he's rubber banded back.
Yeah, Termo's lagged. That's
Yeah.
definitely lag. And the poor machine there, the 27 roadie's pulled over as well. Brian Walsh has also eaten it as well.
Just sorry guys to interrupt. Brock, we need a restart. There's been a bit of kerfuffle down the back of the pack.
A bit of a kerfuffle is putting it very lightly.
Yeah, I'm the messengers. Don't shoot me, please.
Oh no,
There's
we were
been a
watching it on
kerfuffle.
stream as well, so.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, no,
So,
that went poorly.
Yeah.
A session restart would be preferred, I think.
Let's see what happens here.
Yeah.
Also, hi. Yeah, I'm in this car. Oh shit. That's right.
Concentrate on racing, Ruby.
How do I get a track cut limit for doing that?
What'd you do? What did you do?
I went a bit deep at the next corner.
Where's your front bumper?
Oh boy. Yeah, we've got a bunch of cars making their way into the pits. So
Yeah.
I think, and Brock Harvey's gone into the pits as well. So we should be seeing a session restart as everyone kind of apparates from the back straight into pit lane.
So, hope you enjoyed the race too.
Yep. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time before the next race of the season. Bye.
No, none of that. Oh,
Good
that
luck,
was.
guys.
Oh dear, righty. So you've just decided to join in for this race as a one-off?
He's already gone.
Well, I know I'm wanted.
Don't worry.
Don't you love sim racing at times?
Sometimes. Yeah, yes. One of the beautiful things about sim racing is that it relies on stable internet connections and hardware that is, of course, more reliable than actual cars, apparently.
Well, you can't swap out a motherboard in 5 minutes. What are you? Not Audi?
I am not Audi. No, I can't swap out a motherboard in 5 minutes. Yeah, it looks like Termo's quite laggy. So
Yeah.
I think we're just completely restarting the session, and that might mean a entirely randomized grid yet again. And I think that is really cool.
Turbo was on pole.
Wow, Termo's just having the absolute luck of it at the moment.
Oh, that's the best leg out he's ever had. Mind you, he was second anyway, so... Brock Harvey will be from second place. Live Mitch is going to benefit from this as well, starting third. Brian Walsh in fourth in the Playboy Racing Machine.
Okay, just quickly. So the new positions are coming up, but it is still the same grid slots as they were last race.
Okay.
So this is going to get very confusing very quickly. So we'll do our best to sort through it.
Maybe the positions will just be...
We might wait for them to just start on their formation lap before we start calling out positions.
Fine, we'll have it your way. I see what you mean, though.
Yeah, it is just a solid mess.
Yep. We've had this before, of course, think back to the race at Interlagos, which ended in a solid mess. But we are...
Was I meant to react to that? I missed that. I'm sorry.
All good, all good. No, it's like harking back to this race at Interlagos where everyone just laid out on the last lap.
Ah, yes, of course.
So, it's not unusual. It looks like the positions are definitely not matching up on screen, are they?
No. Okay, so I'm not sure if they're going to slide into the same grid slots they were in previously, or if they are going to go with what their current position is. But it looks like for the moment everyone is staying in order, so they might jump into the current grid slots, but then that could get a bit angry at the game, so we'll see what happens.
Well, we're about to go through a timing sector, so we'll see what happens here. Hopefully, when we come through 6 and 7, things might start to shake out just that little bit. And they have not.
Nope. At least we got through the first 2 corners on the warm-up lap without any issues this time around.
Okay. We'll run with it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So Gary Neville is apparently going to start this race from pole. Turmo's
Yep.
apparently going to start this race in second. Ozrob third. And then, well, there'll be cars.
There'll be Luke Joyner and then Cracker.
Mhm.
And then Scott Nolan, Liam Mitch, Benjamin Rhodes, Brian Walsh, Mike Coulston, Glenn Miles, Brendan Hobson, Scott Murrell. I think, whereabouts am I now? Scott Murrell, Stewart in 13th. And then Brock Harvey bring up the rear of the field.
A lot of work for Brock to do then.
There's the flashing lights from Brock Harvey. So at least we know Brock Harvey hurt himself on the stream. So we ticked all the important boxes, guys.
We have. Fair bit of tire warming going on there by the number 7. It looks like we're going to have a clean start for this race. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But it promises to be a great race. So if race 1 was anything to go by, yes, that's it. Wait, Brock, wear your tyres, buddy. As we see it, Gary Neville now pulling up to his pit lane, his start grid there. It's actually a really long way down. And he's...
At Montreal?
Yeah. 3... Oh, he's overshot too. Back it up. Back up a little bit, Gary.
Line up as they were on the previous starts. There isn't any more start malarkey. Fingers crossed.
I just hope the timing catches up after once we get going then, eh? Everyone's formed up. Should be going any second of the clock now. 15 touring cars ready to take on race 2 at Montreal. And I was hoping the lights would come on after that sentence. And they didn't.
That would have been perfect, wouldn't it?
Oh. No, we're still settling up there with the Puma. The Playboy Puma is sort of moving a bit. Okay, we're set. We're waiting. We're waiting. Revs are up.
Oh.
No.
I wonder if it's not going to work until they're in their actual grid slots. That would be the worst.
That'd be funny as.
We are still waiting. It would work out well for you, wouldn't it, Brock? Because you'd be in second place.
Oh, it'll be the best start ever. I think we're just waiting for one car to get into his grid spot. Usually when this happens, the game just puts you in after a while. So just waiting, as all the hard work we did to get the tyres warm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Can you see who it is?
No idea. No.
No one's apparent on the stream.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Okay, no, we've got one of the Pumas is the 27 is doing a bit of a
still moving around.
Yeah.
It just stay still, guys. It'll reset itself.
Oh, that's Neville moving his. Yep.
We
Yeah.
might have to have one more warm-up lap on this one, I think, the way it's looking. But we'll see.
Yep. I think this is the point where the yellow lights on the gantry are flashing. So, yeah. And we are
Still waiting.
still waiting.
I don't think it's going.
Can you guys tell us out of position? We can't.
We
No,
can't.
we can't either.
All right, that makes okay. We're all confused then.
Just
No,
go.
Maybe everyone's out of position because everyone is now listed with new grid slots.
Yeah, that could be it.
True. I don't know. I do know we've had issues in other series before where we've done a restart of the start and then it just doesn't want to start. So I don't know.
One more lap. Oh, yeah,
Another
yeah.
restart.
Yeah, we have a DC, so you might as well restart.
All right.
Who DC'd?
Well, everyone now.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh no, it's just resetting itself.
So, race 3 here at Montreal was an absolute blast.
so we're moving straight on to race 2. Oh, race 4 now.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! Look who's on pole position now. It's Brock Harvey.
This is how you rig things.
But they're going into the same slots.
Oh
so
no, no. Oh god, this is turning. This has been like that Aussie racing cars start a few years ago where you had a guy take off on the red lights, just shambolic.
Yeah, this is a bit much.
Or like that one.
Okay, session's been flagged. That's the end of race 4. We're going to go now into race 5.
Overtime.
Yeah, as you can tell, we have about as much knowledge of what's happening as literally anyone else at the moment.
I think we have as much knowledge as the game developers do.
There we go, guys. We're good to go now.
Woo! Okay. So Glenn Miles looks like going to start the poll on this one.
I've moved up to 13.
Don't speak yet. We still gotta figure it out. We'll wait for all the cars,
Yes,
and then we'll go through it. Maybe.
maybe. Well, they're starting to populate in. It looks like we.
Thermo hates me right now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he
Tom-
does. Oh, I feel like we need to give the race director a drive-through for gross incompetence.
Okay, so as the last of the cars file onto the grid, and we set off for a warm-up lap in a moment. Yes?
Maybe
10 seconds.
10 seconds,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, so Glenn Miles
Hopefully,
is going to be on
we
pole.
get a race start, yeah.
Yay! Rhodey will be in second. So that's a really interesting front row, that actually. And just see how long Glenn Miles can stay in front, because we know he's had a bit of a rough trot of it. Rhodey, I've never seen Rhodey race, so I'll be interested to see how he goes. Scott Murrell will be in third in the Repsol Volkswagen. Gary Neville in fourth place in the Renault Clio. Yes. I had to think how many other Renault models are there. The Cracker in fifth place. Osrob sixth. Lyle Mitch in seventh, last race winner. So not too bad for him. Top half of the field. And interestingly, his main competitors are still behind him on the grid. Brendan Hobson in eighth. Brian Walsh in ninth. Mike Holston 10th. Stewart in 11th. Scott Nolan all the way down in 12th place. And Brock Harvey all the way down in 13th.
Yep, and then even further back, Luke Joyner 14th and Termo in 15th. So I am sure he's very impressed with this restarted procedure.
Oh, no doubt.
Possible front row start now out to 15th place.
Yeah, he'll be he'll just take it out in his driving and pass everyone. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
so look for Termo to make some inroads. Look for Brock Harvey to make some inroads. Luke Joyner potentially as well.
I want to watch
think
that battle from the start, because if Hobson can get in front of Lime Mitch early, this race is going to get really tasty, really quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be... With these random grids, you always end up with something wild happening. So we could end up with a very crazy first few laps. So I am trying to find the right...
Hopefully no
camera
one
angle.
crashes on the warm-up lap this time.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I've done it
There's
before in
still time.
Forza. It's not great.
There's still time.
I ended up on my roof doing it in Forza. That wasn't great.
Of course you would, because that's the sort of thing that you do.
Hey, if I could win a race on a 962 around Bloomin' Long Beach.
How many times did you vault the fountain?
Never, actually. That's why I won the race, because I never vaulted anything. I was the only one to not
That
crash.
surprised me.
You know what
Back
else?
to
Yeah.
Automoblista Australia Touring Car Association Championship.
Back to
the
actual competent drivers.
cars are just coming onto the grid, hopefully for a race start here in race 2. This is, of course, the 7th race of the season. After
race?
2 races
Oh,
in
no, 7th.
Interlagos. Yeah, 2 races in Interlagos, 2 races at Barber, 1 race at Adelaide, and now the 2nd race here at Montreal. Looks like the cars are just finalising their grid slots, and we should be ready to go for a race start very shortly.
Excellent. And we have everyone forming up nicely, and it doesn't look like anyone's overshoot. We should be going momentarily here for the final race of the weekend, hopefully. And if it's anything like the first race, we should be in for an absolute cracker. Here we go.
And here we go.
And we are away here with race 2. Glenn Miles with a pretty good start, actually.
Gary Neville went nowhere just in that start.
And yeah, so Glenn Miles is going to have the first... Oh, great move there by Scott Murrell. Sent it down the inside of Rhodey. Takes second place quite good. Oh, as Rhodey has caused a bit of a kerfuffle back there. He's lost... He's down in 6th place now after all of that. So he cannon into the side of Cracker's machine and dropped a few positions quite quickly.
Glenn Miles has lost the lead. Scott Murrell has gone through.
As we have an incident...
Accident out the back. Rhodey's...
Rhodey's in the wall.
The outside wall, yeah. It looks like he might have just gotten away with it, but he is dropping towards the rear of the field. Probably didn't escape that without having some damage. And yeah, he spun towards the inside of the track at turn 6 there. So not the greatest start for Rhodey. But at the head of the field, Scott Murrell is now taking the lead. He took that on the entry of turn 3. Rob Rob in 2nd place as Glenn Miles just forced a little wide. Oh, and there's contact back in the field. The two Synergy racing cars have gone into each other with Gary Neville involved as well. And it's a little bit of a mess at the back there. But I think everyone escaped without major concern.
Yep.
I think.
Tell you what, this has not been a good start for Gary Neville. He got collected by Rhodey as well. And because I put it on my replay, that was the cause for the first incident. Him, Rhodey and Gary Neville got together.
Rhodey's all broken now.
Okay. Oh, tell you what.
At turn 8.
I reckon that incident might have been caused by the green Mini.
Mike Coulston?
Yeah. Looked like he just got into the back of Gary Neville and the Synergy sim cars got caught up in that.
Yeah.
But looks to me.
Lion Mitch is off. Lion Mitch has gone off at the last chicane from 6th position. He's rejoined back on track. Oh, this has gone off entirely. At the very
As we have one of the Sim Energy cars just going sideways into the Wall of Champions.
Oh boy.
Calm it down, boys.
What a wild first lap. These random grid races, I swear. And all this has just allowed Scott Murrell to just jump away at the start. He's already got a 2.5 second lead over Ozrob in the second of Volkswagens, with Brendan Hobson in 3rd. I think it's Cracker and Glenn Miles battling for 4th, but Cracker gets balked. Lion Mitch is now on his inside as they go around turn 5 into turn 6. Brock Harvey's in there as well. Did Lion Mitch make contact with the wall there? I'm not even sure. Miles is still holding position. They're going everywhere, and there's a yellow flag in that sector now. Not sure why.
It might be a safety car.
Oh, it is a safety car. Yeah, safety car has been called. I'm not sure why that was. That might be for the Rhodey incident.
Well, Rhodey is DNF, so let's see if he did something. Oh, look! Oh, yeah, look at that. His car's on replay now. He's got 3 wheels on his wagon.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's not how you want it to go, Rhodey. So we get a chance to just take our breath and reset with 27 minutes left in this race. Wow, I'm. What's going on? Damn.
What? I've got no words for that. I couldn't keep up trying to change cameras and replays, and that was mad, boys.
That was just a little nutty off that first few laps. And Scott Murrell jumped in the pit straight away. And Ozrob's following him, Hobson's following him, Miles is following him.
Who doesn't follow him?
Mitch. I think
Brock's not following.
Brock Harvey's staying out. And Termo's staying out.
Tell you what, smart call.
And Gary Neville's staying out, and that's it at this stage.
Smart call, because 26 minutes is a long way to go on one set of tyres.
Yeah, but we saw other cars. Oh, and there's even mix-ups in the pit lane with cars trying to pit on top of each other. Man, what is this?
I think someone just tooted their horn as well.
So this will be all very interesting to see how it shakes out at the end. Because... yeah, we're just not sure what everyone's doing, where everyone is. 25 minutes is a long way to go, but we saw people, for example, Scott Nolan, the previous race, do a 26-minute stint on his tyres and make it to the finish fairly comfortably, even though he did get overrun by Scott Murrell and Brendan Hobson in the latter stage of the race.
So just trying to suss out. So basically, everyone but the top 3 has pitted here.
Yes.
So Scott Murrell is still going to be in 4th place. Ozrob in 5th. Hobson in 6th. So Ozrob's actually done all right there. Just fit those two. Glenn Miles in 7th, Colston in 8th.
I think Rob was ahead of Hobson before the pit stops as well.
Still had a pretty good opening lap because those two were next to each other on the grid. Lime Mitch down in 10th. So he's dropped 3 since the start of the race. And then you're going to have Luke Joyner, Stewart, Scott Nolan, and Brian Walsh bringing up the rear. So now the question is, your Brock Harvey, Turmo, or Neville? You just got to go. When do you pit? And you just got to go flat out.
Yeah, That's the thing with this early safety car. You could get caught in either bunk at this point. I think if you take the pit stop, you got to be fairly conservative, which means that the guys at the front, if you are the Brock Harveys or the Turmos, you can go a bit nutty and put in as much pace as you can, and then hope that you pop out ahead. Because yeah, as you mentioned, it is a long stint, 26 minutes. As we have the safety car go around for another lap. So every lap that this safety car does, as Neville does pit, so he's going to lose out now because he's going to pit while everyone else is queued up behind the safety car.
He's going to lose out, but I suspect we're going to go with about 20 minutes left to go. I would almost have done the Gary Neville and just pit now and just cut your losses. Because you can pit with 4 tyres now. Potentially.
I'm not sure. I would have been... I'm the type of person who commits. So if I didn't pit on that first lap, I would have just commit to that strategy and done the best I could.
Yeah. Mind you, I'm the type of person who would be the cause of the safety car, so what do I know?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
I was going to say, as the cause of the safety car.
Yeah, we saw that, Rody. We saw many missing panels and a very broken car.
I mean, you know what the worst bit was? I crashed the same corner I crashed in the warm-up lap. It was the same poise. I came around there and forgot there was a corner right behind her and went, oh shit, hit the brakes. And because I'm used to something with a lot more rear weight than these things have, immediately pirouetted it. And then I would have made it to the end had I not had 3 wheels.
And this is why we can't have nice things.
No.
This is why we can't have nice things.
But I think from where they're sitting, those that wanted to pit midway through this race will still do so. The only reason you pit now is if you low fueled at the start to go alternate strategy and then alternate strategy it anyway. But it's basically like starting from the start with a full fuel load. It's just a couple extra, it's maybe an extra 5 litres or so once you burn through what you do for one of these.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're already almost a third through the race. And so the only guys that haven't taken that stop now are Brock Harvey and Turmo. So they're basically sitting ducks at this point. They have to take a pit stop that no one else has to make. And the race is basically half distance.
Michael, can you just check out Lion Mitch for me? I reckon Lion Mitch has got a problem.
Whereabouts?
14th.
Is Lion Mitch?
14th.
Oh, hello. Yeah, that front left doesn't look ideal, does it?
So I'm going to keep... So, I mean... Yeah, that car's not going too well at all.
It is damaged brakes, and look at that, brakes and suspension. That's locking the front tyres.
So that's real unfortunate for the last race's winner.
It looks like he's gone off in turn 8.
Right, okay.
Maybe it's... No, I have no idea. It's...
Ooh.
He's going to catch up to the grid, but...
And he's DNF'd, I think.
Not as yet. He's circulating at the moment. He's currently coming back up through the safety car field, trying to find his spot. So he was in a spot. He's going back up. No, I think he's going straight to pit lane, actually.
Yeah, because you can't restart with that sort of car. That's just going to be... That does mean we're going green this time, though.
I'm going to go back in the race chat and find out what else happens. Good luck, guys.
Thanks, mate. So we are green as Scott Murrow sends it down the inside of Turmo, and that was a fantastic move. And Hobson around the outside of Ozrob.
Wow, great move, Hobson. So that's going to kill Turmo's race. Turmo's race is basically done now because he's been passed by one of the pit takers. So Turmo's in a world of hurt now and is not going to be doing too well for the rest of the race, I don't think.
No. Again, that's why I think Gary Neville's strategy was probably the best to make of a bad situation. As we see here, Mike Holston down the inside of Cracker, or at least having a look down the inside of Cracker, and he's going to find himself on the outside of 7, and he still gets the move done.
Wow, cracking move.
Cracking move on Cracker. Hey, I make the puns here, not you. It's also
he's even
collected.
going to round up Jonah as well as they come into turn 8. He's just going to stay around the outside. And Cracker dives towards the inside as well.
Cracker,
makes contact with Jonah.
That was a little ambitious.
Yeah, a little ambitious. I think Colston went through the chicane as well, so he might have to give that move back. No, he got through fine, so I don't know what I'm talking about. As they all get through the hairpin relatively unscathed.
Relatively. I don't think anyone's unscathed at the end of this race. No.
Now, Mitch is 50-ish seconds back, so his race is probably done as well. Scott Murrell looking towards the, Brock Harvey, make a move on the inside. He still got his nose in there as they come through the final chicane, but he doesn't get it done. Oh, someone's in the wall at the back. Someone's hit the wall of champions.
Oh, yes. Ben Miles is...
7th, 8th,
yep,
9th,
there we go. Got him there.
All the way towards the back of the field now. And we said someone was going to do it, and it turns out it's Glenn Miles. So we've still got his tyre just ducking across the front of the track.
Yep, I'm going to get that on replay when my stream actually catches up, and we'll see what actually happened there. So coming through to the Wall of Champions, he's definitely done it by himself. What's he done? Oh, yep, just got a bit loose on entry, went over the curb and straight into the wall. Everyone has done it. As I said at the start of the race, you've either hit the wall or you're going to hit the wall. In this case.
So we've got a group of 4 at the front now. It's kind of split away from the rest of the pack. So we've got Harvey, who hasn't pit, followed by Scott Murrell, who has, Termo, who hasn't pit, and then Brenton Hobson, who has pit. So that's the shape at the front. Behind them is Oz Rob, about a second and a half back. Scott Nolan up the inside, makes contact with Cracker, who makes contact, and there's spins, and they just managed to sneak through. And now Cracker's in the lead of that pack with Colston right beside him as they come down that back straight.
I was so busy looking at the action up front, but I got the end of that. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's a bit of a madhouse back there, and they're still going at it. I think Scott Nolan's on the inside of Luke Joyner as they come into the final chicane. Are they going to go through there too wide?
You're going to try it, but
they
no.
Aren't, no.
As I said,
I think wise to get out of it there.
Yep, Scott Morrow, 142.8. Fastest lap of the race.
And he's taking the lead now.
Yes, we'll have to catch up on that in a second. I just want to see how Gary Neville goes wide through 1, gets on track for 2. Let's go back up to the front, see what happened there between Harvey and Murrell. I think Harvey's under pressure here from Turmo now as well.
Yeah, he was just on the outside there trying to get back through on Murrell.
Okay.
And has just lost a bit of time, lost a bit of space.
Oh, yep, so yeah, just caught the edge of it on a stream there. The Scott Murrell just sent it straight down the inside into 1. Great move.
Yeah, so now that puts Scott Murrell in the box seat here because both Harvey and Turmo have to make pit stops later in the race. But Hobson is still there or thereabouts. So Murrell's still going to try and conserve as much as he can to keep Hobson behind. But Harvey is now drawn level as they go through up into the hairpin at turn 10. He's going to have to take the outside through this hairpin. Murrell does a great job to try and cover the apex, but he's gone wide on the exit. Oh, there's a little bit of touching as they go side by side back down the back straight. Remember, Scott's got a little bit more weight on board, so Brock Harvey with the inside line should be able to get as they drag down the back straight.
And Brock Harvey's got the less preferred line, but he's got the better brakes and gets over the curb on exit though, and Scott Murrell has held on to position, and Turmo's capitalised as well, who's up into 2nd.
Wow, that was not what I expected. Brock just overcooked it there, and Turmo's diving in for the lead, is he? Scott's left a little bit of room, but Turmo's now have to go around the outside in turn 2. Can he stay out there? Not quite, but he's got a bit better of an exit, and he could maybe make a dive into 3 here. No, not nearly close enough.
No, you've got to be committed to make the pass there, and he was not close enough. Yeah. Tell you what though, turn 8's on.
If he can hold it there through turn 8, then maybe. But the way that Scott's driving at the moment, he's really blocking the rest of this little group. And as they battle with each other, it's not giving anyone an advantage at the moment.
Definitely looks that way. Tell you, but these four, and there's Hobson right at the back just waiting to get involved in this battle as Turmo gets onto 2 wheels through that chicane. That was wild.
Just a little bit, and we have ticked over half distance in this race
already.
as well.
Doesn't feel like, oh, around the outside of the hairpin. Can he get it done this time? He's going to try the cutback, but Brock Harvey's there and he can't pull back in line. And tell you what, that's cost him a few tenths of a second.
Yeah, but it's also given him a pretty decent run down this back straight. He is right in the wheel tracks of Scott Morrell as they down the casino straight here at Montreal. He's going to the outside. Can he pull his nose ahead before they get into the braking zone? Just a little bit, but he still is on the outside. He's going to go trying around the outside in that chicane, and he gets it done. Wow, what a move.
Well done, boys. That's mad. And Brock Harvey's going to make the most of this as well and try to stick it on the inside into turn 1. And he's got the move done, but Murray's going to fight back as well as Brock dives down for the lead on Turmo. What is this race?
So Scott's been pushed out to the outside. Brock's pushing Turmo through turn 1. Now, Brenton Hobson's going to make the move on Scott Morrell as well. Scott Morrell's going to go from first to fourth in a matter of 3 corners here as they go through the chicane, and that has been confirmed as well. Yeah.
What battling?
So now we've got the 2 people who still need to pit at the head of the field. Now, if they're smart here, they'll stop battling and then try and drag away and leave Hobson and Scott Morrell to battle between themselves. And Morrell must be sick of looking at the rear of that Sim Energy Sim Racing Lancer, because he's been looking at it for most of race 1 and now again in race 2. And it must be the worst feeling going from first to fourth in those 3 corners there.
Yeah. Now, just while we're talking about those 2 that are yet to pit, the gap to 11th place is only 22 seconds. They're going to drop a chunk of positions when they pit.
Yeah, we saw it was about a 30-second delta through the pits. And just quickly, we've lost a few more cars. So Glenn Miles, we saw that accident. We've seen Stewart now DNF as well.
Yeah.
So a few more cars further back in the field popped out of the race. So it's about a 30-second delta. So that means that from the top of the field, you are going to drop all the way to the back if you do take this pit stop now, which is a pretty bitter pill to swallow for Turmo and for Brock Harvey. But remember, they wouldn't be at the head of the field without not taking that stop.
We have got move for the effective lead here. Move for the effective lead. Scott Morrell got a better run out of the final chicane and is going to have the inside line for 1. But Hobson, very, very audaciously sticks it in there. Has the inside for 2 and holds the position for now. But
and while you were talking about that move for the effective lead, we also for the actual lead with Brock Harvey making the move on Turmo into turn 1 as well. So, did Morrell hit the wall there?
Sounded like he got very close. If he did, he's definitely dropped a few tenths.
Morrell to make that move, but he could have thrown it all away there by making contact. He could have damage on that front right as they peel through turn 7 to the back side of the circuit now. Yeah, it's been a wild, and that car doesn't look. It still looks alright actually. It might have gotten away with it there.
Lucky. That was a significant rub.
Yeah, exactly right. And there's no places you want to have a rub on the wall at this sort of circuit with the walls so close.
Yeah. I'm just going to leave these guys for a second and go down to 9th place because Luke Joyner, Cracker, as Cracker runs a bit wide, okay. I was going to catch and think Cracker was going to put a move on, but he's just gone blowing a chicane and could drop back to 10th place. Thanks, Cracker. Yeah, well timed.
That battle has been pretty livid throughout the race as well. So we've got this battle group at the front and this battle group for 7th now. As Scott Nolan's managed to jump ahead of that group now.
I'm back into the group at the front now because I imagine we'll see one of the front 2 pit any second.
And it looks like Turmo is the first one to blink as Scott Morrell jumps the curb at the final corner. So we'll monitor where Turmo comes out. But as I said, it should be all the way back just ahead of Brian Walsh is where I'm behind Brian Walsh is where I'm expecting Turmo to drop back out into the fray.
What it does mean is Brock Harvey needs to go. He just needs to boot it.
Yeah, and he's got a little bit of a gap now, so he has some room, maybe. All
right, Turmo's now moving, so Brian Walsh is literally right on the front straight. So this is going to be, I imagine, 11th place for Turmo.
It's going to be very close, actually.
Well, when Brian Walsh spins it
oh.
at turn 1, that's
Make
decided.
it a little easier, yeah.
Yeah. We built all that suspense up for nothing, then Brian Walsh just spins it. Commentators
So it
first.
looks like
Sorry,
the-
Brian.
Looks like the front has calmed down a little bit. Brock Harvey is going, as you made mention. He's at the purple first sector, so he's definitely trying to put his foot in it. He's got about a second lead over Scott Murrell, who's got about another second back to Brenton Hobson. So they've just calmed down a little bit now. But remember, Brock Harvey does have that pit stop to make still coming up. A bit of a slower middle sector for Brock Harvey's.
Yeah, a bit
not
wide.
exactly what he would have wanted.
No. Not exactly hammer time is dropping at the moment.
No.
Trying to get up to, so we've got an eyes on the front 3 now. Does Harvey pit this lap?
He didn't. It's hard to tell until they're.
Yeah, no,
definitely in.
he's not. He's not pitting this lap. I reckon he'll leave it to the last possible moment.
Yeah, I think that's actually not too bad a plan. Because as we said, it was a 30-second delta, and that time gap now between Brock Harvey and Turmo is about 29.5 seconds.
We've lost line Mitch now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let's see if I can figure out why. No, I can't. Can't go back on the replay, but no, he's out. Understandably, he was a long way off the pace. He's probably just gone, nah.
The thing is, if you even finish the race, you get a weight break for finishing at the back. So I would stay in it if it was me.
Yeah.
Just plan ahead for the next one. Oh
well.
well.
It's a shame. Mind you, he's going to cop a big penalty anyway for winning race 1, so...
Yeah, so you get some of that back by having a bad race too. That's just me. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that is a shame for Mitch. That incident in the safety car, which was real weird. I can't remember. Well, we didn't catch it on the stream, but we saw that he was limping around. So yeah, unfortunate.
Tell you who's not limping around at the moment.
Brock Harvey.
Well, him too, but Brenton Hobson is right on the backside of Scott Murrell again.
Yeah, Murrell's had a pretty poor middle sector, so he's fallen into the clutches of Brenton Hobson, while that has also allowed Brock Harvey to get away. So they're coming down the back straight now, and it is only about half a second, quarter of a second between the Volkswagen and the Lancer, with a Mini ahead of them, but we still do have that Mini to come into the pits, which he doesn't this lap either.
Yep, no, he's definitely waiting for the last possible moment. You might as well now. Because the gap between him and Turmo's key.
Yes, and that is still... Well, it's actually gotten closer now. It's actually 28 seconds. So Brock Harvey's losing time to Turmo.
Fresh tyres, getting undercut.
Potentially, yeah.
Undercuts in half-an-hour races. We don't need degrading tyres Formula 1.
Nah.
We've just got 15 of the maddest sim races going around.
And these crazy little touring cars.
Yes. Oh, Scott Murrell was... Oh, someone... Nope, that was just the noise. I thought someone may have hit the wall, but no, there was just noise in my headset. It's fine.
Hold on.
But no, I was going to say, Murrell got very squirrely, very close to the wall there through 3 and 4. And it looks like Hobson is closing ever so slightly 2 tenths. Well, we say 2 tenths, it's really that. As he has a little look into turn 8 and 9, but decides better of it and smart enough too.
That's the lousy look. That's the, I'm not going to have a dive, but I'm going to make you think I'm going to have a dive just to put you off your game. That's what it is.
Yep. Ooh, he was sizing up a look there into the hairpin, but got a bit squirrely, and that move didn't happen that lap. And with 6 minutes to go, there aren't a little laps left to get a move done. No,
and it looks like he got a little bit of a better run out of that as he's in the wheel tracks of Scott Murrell coming down the casino straight. There, Scott Murrell was trying to break the draft as well, but I don't think Brenton Hobson's got enough room to make the move just yet. This might be a chance for him to just sort of sit back, take stock, and try and think the move ahead of time, so that way he makes sure that he gets it done properly instead of trying to throw it somewhere where there's not a gap. But yeah, it looks like he's actually lost a little bit of time as well. Yeah, there's just the last half of that lap and the beginning of this has just been a little bit scruffy from him. Or let's not forget, he's also carrying 50 kilos as well, so he's definitely struggling on the main straight. Very true, very true.
Murrell's line is scaring me through that chicane.
It's just on. Oh, we got a new fastest lap of the race. Turmo a 1:42.7. So he's putting in some work now on those fresh tires. He is still. Where am I? He's 27 seconds behind Brock Harvey.
Sorry to interrupt, but Hobson's got a great run out of what I believe is 7, and is too wide through 8 and 9. That was very brave, and it looks like Hobson has got the move done.
Yes, because Murrell cut the chicane there, so he's had to give it up. So again, Murrell has to sit behind that Synergy Racing Lancer and deal with seeing that rear end.
He's just going to take a sledgehammer to the end of the race and make it look like something different.
Would not be surprised to see that happen. So we've got only, potentially only 2 laps left at this stage, because... Oh, and Morrell's on the outside of the back straight around Hobson, and he's got the move done straight away. Wow.
Great move. And looks like Harvey's into the pit lane, so this is now the effective race lead.
Yep, exactly right. So we're just about to cross the line. 3 minutes 34 left. Oh, let's do some quick maths.
Two laps. 2 laps.
Yes, 2 laps left in this race, because they'll have this one... Could be 3. Could be 3 laps.
Could be 3 laps?
Because they'll finish this one. No, you're right. Yeah, definitely. Sorry.
Okay, I'm just going back to Brock Harvey to see where he comes out, because he's going to be pretty close to Turmo.
Let me just do some maths here. Hang on.
And Brock Harvey is going to be 2 seconds behind Turmo, so that's going to be Turmo in 9th, Brock in 10th. So that waiting hasn't quite worked for him. Also, just saw in chat that that Mitch actually DC'd.
Oh, that's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, his game just crashed on him, so that's a shame.
So it should be 3 laps by my maths, because they crossed with about 3:35 left, and it's about a 1 minute 45 second lap. So 2 lots of 1:45 is about 110 seconds. 210 seconds, and 3 minutes 35 is 215 seconds. So we should start the last lap with around 5 seconds left.
So Brendan Hobson's got 28 more corners to get this move done, potentially.
Potentially. Just looking to the back of the field very quickly, it looks like Turmo and Brock Harvey have gotten onto the tail of the Joyner Gary Neville battle, and they could... tyres permitting, find their way up into maybe even 7th or 6th, depending on how they do in the last stanza of this race.
Ooh, we'll keep an eye on that one, just sneakily, as it looks like the Murrell has just pulled away slightly, now half a second ahead of Hobson. Rob has had a good second race, he's just cruising along in 3rd place at the moment.
Yeah, he's had a really quiet race. He got ahead of that... Oh, sorry to interrupt myself. Morrell's gone wide in turn 3, and he's given up the position to Brendan Hobson straight away.
Jeez, that didn't take long.
No, it didn't. It looks like he locked the wheel into turn 3, went wide, and yeah, that half a second evaporated in an instant.
That's really a shame. But
he's got to look at the back of that Lancer again.
It seems to be where it goes though, because it's going to... We know the Lancer hasn't quite got the straight line speed because of that 50 kilo.
Oh, they make contact. Oh, looks like they both escaped there. Yeah, Morrow on the brakes on the outside and in the grass. Yeah, very lucky not to make that into a bigger problem as they come into turn 10. The hairpin now. Can Hobson hold on and balk Morrell enough to stay ahead down this long back straight? No, Morrell's got a much better run. He's straight away in the wheel tracks and straight away towards the outside. That's going to be the problem for Hobson. It's not making the move. It's making the move stick down here as we come up to 25 seconds left in this race. I think we are going to get another lap in.
As Morrell gets the move done and gets a bit of a hurry up from Hobson for a good measure. And we're going to cross the line with about 8 seconds left to go, and we'll be in our final lap here with 0.2 of a second between the two leaders. This is going to be an awesome last lap.
5 seconds is the official time as they cross the line to start the last lap here at Montreal. It's going to be a 17-lap race. as they come through the first sector. Now, can Murrell hold it together this time around with Hobson directly in the wheel tracks, coming through turns 3 and 4? A lot better this time around. Oh, he runs a little way. He's hit the wall.
Ooh. Is that going to be the sniff that Hobson needs? He's going to shove it down the inside of 5. And
they're coming.
No, wrong line at 6. He can't get the move done yet. But he's still right on his backside.
He's got a much better run through here. Now he's going to stay in the wheel tracks and try and make the dive into 8. But Scott's and he's surrendered the inside line to Hobson. So now Hobson's got that lead and he's pulling away here. That moment at turn 4 might be the difference as they come into the hairpin for the final time. Now, Hobson has had the issue that he gets overtaken on the straight. He holds up Murrell very nicely on the late apex there, but he's still going to be in trouble as they go down this long back straight.
Karen Scott, send it. Send it. He's far over to the right-hand side of the track there. That's... yes, he's definitely not giving up the inside as he comes into the last corner now. Murrell has got past him. He's taken it on the just on that last straight. The heavyweight has lost out to the bantamweight, and the winner of the race is Scott Murrell by 0.2 of a second over Brenton Hobson. Third place goes to Oz Rob. Fourth place will be Scott Nolan. And fifth place, when I get the camera to go the right way, will be Mike Coulston, just ahead of Cracker.
That battle between Brock Harvey and Termo has gone the way of Brock Harvey as he comes across the line. What was that? I think it was 1/10 ahead of Termo on that last lap. And then
as Neville just kills Termo.
Gary Neville and Luke Joyner are around the tail end of that group. And the last finisher will be Brian Walsh, who trots over the final chicane and comes down the main straight to finish 11th. Woo! What a race!
Woo. So you were right there. Harvey and Termo got around Neville and Walsh at the end. But what a finish!
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
We said Hobson would be in trouble coming down that back straight with the extra fuel. With the extra weight on board, and Murrell timed it to perfection. That was just a crazy finish,
wasn't it? That was insanity. Early race safety car, late race drama. What more could you want?
Yeah.
Apart from a functioning game.
Less crashes from guest entrants. Cough, roadie, cough.
No, let's not be rude. Now I believe we'll have a couple of those drivers from that spectacular race 2 in the lobby now. Would you like to have a chat to them, Michael?
Fantastic. We'll go to Brendan Hobson first. Brendan Hobson, second place on the day. Struggled a bit with top line speed at the end of the straight. Give us your view on that last lap, if you can.
The last lap, that was good fun. I mean, it's a good race. We were pretty hamstrung by the success ballast. So, I mean, we did the best we could, but there was nothing. It was a bit of a, how do I word it? We were never likely to win that. So we did pretty well probably to hang on as best we could. But I mean, we're really bad in the hairpin. That's where it was killing us the most. We were losing so much time. I couldn't stop as good as everyone else, and I couldn't accelerate as good as anyone else. So the hairpin was just killing me. And then, I mean, I had to be in front coming down the straight to have any chance. But it was always going to be a tough ask. So I made it as hard as I could, and full credit. He got the job done. Murrell got the job done, and it was a good race.
Yeah, it was great fun to call as well. So you're finding the extra weight a bit more of a challenge now compared to what you had at Adelaide and at Bar. No, you didn't have any extra weight at Barber, did you?
I can't remember if I had any or not at Barber. I don't remember, but I mean, yeah, definitely. The first race was more of an indication for where we were. I mean, I understand putting success ballast in the cars to bring the faster guys back, but I mean, we got beaten by half a minute in the first race and I couldn't have gone any better. So that's a little frustrating because there's no chance of winning in a case like that. As long as the guy in front gets out there, there's just no chance. But in the second race, it worked to its intended purpose, and it brought it all together nice and close. But I mean, if Lion Mitch had been out in front without damage, he would have just driven away again, which would have been frustrating. But that is what it is.
Fair enough. We might see an adjustment to that for the next race, of course, because that is just a personal adjustment to you because you're just so damn good. So we might see that brought down for the next race because, of course, that long straight does throw a few spanners in the works. But second place for the second race, so congratulations, Brenton.
Yeah, thanks very much. I hope it was fun to watch.
It was a lot of fun. We've got Scott Morrill in here as well. Do we? I think we do.
You do.
Fantastic race at the end there. Did you get... Okay, answer this truthfully. Did you have any damage after that contact with the wall?
Yes.
How did you manage that last lap then?
Bit of luck, to be honest. My tyres were just hurting. I was pushing so hard to keep up with Termo and Brock, and I was just killing my tyres doing it. But it was, I know I shouldn't have, but God, it was fun. So...
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. So you got the move done on that back straight, because you had a bit more of a pace advantage. Did the advice I gave you at halftime help you with that at all?
I knew you'd be watching.
Hey,
yeah, no, definitely took it into account. Just trying that slightly wider line, cut the corner a bit sharper, and just a bit more of a exit speed seemed to work well.
He normally
Mr. Park's bus.
Normally when he gives advice, it's absolutely god awful terrible. So I'm glad it worked for you.
As I said, fountain of racing wisdom. You don't believe me?
For reasons.
Ouch. I'm cut. Your turn.
My turn. You're the one asking the questions.
Yep. Okay, I'll ask some more questions.
Go team.
Yeah, go team. So, taking that race win, that nets you 17 kilos of ballast. Are you looking excited to carry a bit more extra weight next round?
Not at all.
Well, you get what you deserve.
It's the downside of winning, really. Like, I was cheering at one point, and as soon as I ran that first corner, I was like, God damn, that's 17 kilos.
That's how they get you.
Full credit to all the boys I was racing with. That was some really great racing. So,
I was going to ask you everyone. I was going to ask you about that because you knew Brock was having to go into the pits at some point. Did you need to race it so hard, or were you just caught up in the actual fun of it all?
Yeah, exactly right. I was like, I shouldn't be doing this. They've both got a pit. And I thought about backing off, and then I was just like, that's not fun. I just had to keep going. And personally, Cracker and I always have to have a crack at each other. Termo and I, sorry. We do. And Cracker.
Brilliant. No, it was great fun to watch and certainly put on a show. Congratulations on your race win, Scott Morrill. I just want to jump now to Brock Harvey, who finished the race in 7th position. Brock, you were one of the few who didn't take that early pit stop. How did you feel once the safety car left the track and went green?
Scared. I wanted to pit, and I was too late in requesting a pit, so I would have had to wait for the pit crew, and then I would have lost a crap ton of positions anyway. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna give the sponsors some TV time and try and stay out.
Oh, yeah, because you ended up in 7th place, battling along with Termo, who was stuck on the same strategy as you. You made the call to wait as long as you could for that last pit stop. Was that in hope to try and stretch out that margin, or what was the logic there?
I wanted to probably wait until the last lap and try and just stay ahead, really, of the guys, but everyone had really good pace in that second race. So the strategy with about 4 laps to go, I realized that probably wasn't going to work. Yeah. So yeah, we just chucked it in, and then I had 2 laps to bump into Villeneuve and Termo and try and get some spots back. I think we made up 3 spots in the 2 laps, so that was fun. That was a really fun race, so that was all good.
Cool. Yeah, glad that you guys had fun. And finally, 3rd place on the podium, Oz, 2nd race. Nice clean race from you, Oz. Rob, any comments at all?
No, exactly that. Just a nice clean race. First race I don't want to talk about. It's a load of shit. But anyway, that's it's good fun racing. Well done, Brock, for putting it on.
Yes, thank you very much, Brock, and congratulations on your third place, Rob. And I think that wraps up everything from the group.
Woohoo! And I think that wraps up everything from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Cracking weekend of racing when we finally got 2 races underway. A couple of false starts there, but that happens. So we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time for one of my personal favourite tracks in Laguna Seca.
Oh, that's going to be brilliant in
yes.
these cars. Can you imagine flying off the corkscrew in a front-wheel drive car? Terrifying.
Ugh. And I feel sorry for the guys carrying a 50-kilo weight up the hill there.
Oh boy, yeah, that's not going to be very nice.
Sorry, Hopkins.
Just on that, guys, before you sign off, I've actually just got a note saying that Hobbo will be brought down to Will Devenish's weight. So
Okay.
it'll be even.
Ooh,
Fantastic.
Perfect what we want for next week. On that note...
Next fortnight.
Damn it.
Next fortnight, yes. On that note, thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. On behalf of Michael Zalavari, I'm Chris Riddell. Peace out.
Gazoo.